All right, Saturday night, Israel Adesanya went out there, got the job done in just sensational fashion, knocking out Alex Pereira in round 2 after a close round 1. But listen, the storyline coming into this one, Pereira had beaten him 3 times, knocked him out twice, but he still went in there full of confidence, talking a good game going in there as well, saying, what if I beat him better than he beat me? What if I butcher him? What if I knock him out and leave him unconscious? A lot of people thought maybe that's wishful thinking, Israel, but that is exactly what he did. So we're not going to go over this because I did that in a recap video. You've seen it. You've watched the fight. But what is next? That's the big question, because the reality is, even though it's 3-1 now to Pereira, it's 1-1 in mixed martial arts. So let's forget about the kickboxing fights because that's a different sport. In the mixed martial arts world, in the UFC, they are now 1-1, okay? So typically you would think there's going to be a rubber match next because that is generally the run of events, right? That's what happens. Look at Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. They just announced Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena 3. We just had the rubber match between Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards. When there's a title at stake, when it's one apiece, you got to close it out. You got to put a nail in the coffin. You got to shut down that series, that chapter, once and for all. But let's talk about what some of the people involved think, because I'm not involved, none of my business, although I know about this stuff. So Dana White was asked about it at the post-fight press conference. He said he believes or thinks that Pereira is going to go up to 205 pounds and cause some problems there.
Honestly, I think that Pereira probably moves to 205 after this fight. He's a monster, you know. I know that he still had like 2 pounds to cut leading up to, there was like an hour left of the weigh-in, so. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's moving to 205, but I would assume he is. You guys can ask him himself, but it wouldn't surprise me.
And maybe he will do that because, let's be honest, the man's massive at middleweight, and those weight cuts, they've sure got to be difficult. It's surely got to affect his performance. By the way, I'm not saying that he can't take a punch because of the weight cuts, so therefore it was easier for Israel to win. No, 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 no. If you're the type of guy like Alex Pereira, who does, by all accounts, cut a phenomenal amount of weight, it's a risk versus reward. The risk is that it will sap your gas tank as the fight goes long, and it will affect your ability to take a shot. The reward is that you're going to be super big, you're going to be super strong, and you're going to hit harder. So that's his decision. And yeah, maybe Dana's right. Maybe he does go to 205. Now, talking of Pereira, he was knocked out rather viciously. He came out and gave an update to all of his fans. He said, I just want to let you know that I'm all fine. I want to thank my family, my team, and all the people that are supporting me during my journey. Now I just have to rest and continue with the plans that are already in motion. Thanks God. So as we know, there's 2 people, though, 2 people involved in this. Israel Adesanya, he went out there, he said, listen, this is done. This is over. I have chose to close this chapter. Here's exactly what he said.
I don't keep score. I settle them.
But I'm
now
say,
it's settled. Look, I gave him a fast track to the belt. You know, I could have said, nah, who has he fought? Like, he fought one top 5. Nah, but, you know, he did well, fought some all right guys, and beat Strickland. I was like, okay, fine. There's no one else. But also, I was looking for that challenge. The guy that beat me in kickboxing, I was looking for that challenge. That's why I took that fight. The rematch, I got the immediate rematch because of what I've done in this game. I won the belt against Kevin. I defended against Rob, Romero, Costa, Vittori, Rob again, Cannonier. That's 7. My other belt will have 7 fucking gems on it, you know? So I did the hard yards, and I earned my rematch. You know, now he's got to do the hard yards if he wants to do that. But I don't think it's going to, because he go cause problems at 205. And good luck to everybody else, because he's a motherfucker to deal with. I'll tell you that.
So there it is. So Adesanya kind of dismissing the rubber match. Dana saying he's maybe going to go to 205. Pereira not really giving anything and saying, look, listen, you know, I'm fine. What happens? Well, my opinion, I would like to see the rubber match. That is what needs to happen. Otherwise, it's always going to be out there. It's 1-1. Now, the only thing that would change that, in my opinion, is if Pereira says, you know what, making those weight cuts was too much. I'm going to go up to 205 pounds. I don't think he will, because he's 35 or 36 years old. So he's not getting any bigger. It's not like he's a young guy still growing into his body. However, only time will tell. I understand Izzy. He's absolutely right. Izzy did do the hard yards, and he had lapped everybody. He'd beaten everyone. He's beaten everyone in the top 5 currently. So they did need fresh blood they did need fresh meat. And Pereira allowed that. He was that. And he had the 2 victories over him. So the storyline was there. So he did get fast-tracked. That's a fact. However, when he got fast-tracked, he beat him. So, yeah, he did settle the score, but the score isn't over. The score is tied. It is 1 apiece. We need to see that. We need to see the final chapter in this story. Now, there's other people out there. Of course, Robert Whittaker. I love Robert, so I'm not going to talk badly, although I do think he's like, oh, man, Izzy got it done. You know, he was probably going to be next in line for Pereira if Pereira did it. Jan Blachowicz is out there on Twitter. He's talking about coming down to 185 pounds and fighting Israel for the belt. That's an interesting opportunity as well because, you know, Izzy went up, he dared to be great, wanted to become a 2-weight division champion, didn't get the job done, gave a good showing of himself, but Jan, you know, he was the better guy on the night. He was bigger, he got the takedowns, beat him to the punch as well. But he's on about coming down to 185. That would be a solid choice as well. But who else is there? I mean, he has beaten everyone in the top 5, Jared Cannonier, Robert Whittaker, Marvin Vettori, Jared Cannonier, I just said that, Alex Pereira, do you know what I mean? Sean Strickland, I don't think he's going to get a shot anytime soon, even though he would present a fun matchup. If you ask me, though, I mean, there's Khamzat Chimaev as well. Khamzat Chimaev said, I'll see you soon, or something like that along those lines on Twitter. But Chimaev has to win a fight first at 185. You're talking about Pereira getting fast-tracked. I mean, listen, at least he won 3 or 4 fights in the division. You know, if Khamzat came out there, all right, granted, he did beat Gerald Meerschaert, actually. He did beat Gerald Meerschaert, but still, that would still be a ridiculous fast track. Although, Khamzat, I mean, he pulls in big numbers. So my 3 front runners as to what is going to happen is obviously Alex Pereira. I do believe that should happen. You know, if Pereira wants it, that should happen. I understand this is the champion, he gets to say, but, you know, he did give you an immediate rematch as well, let's be honest. And then it's Khamzat Chimaev and then Jan Blachowicz. They're 3 viable contenders. Sadly for Robert Whittaker, who's right there, who's by far and large the next best person in that weight division, he has been beaten by Israel twice. Came back, looked sensational against Marvin Vettori, but he needs another 1 or even 2 before he can stake a claim. So still there it is. I just want to end this by saying Israel Adesanya, what a man. I mean, just unbelievable. The way he handled all that pressure, went out there and beat him at his own game, played possum up against the fence. Pereira got too excited. He got too excited. You know, and a man that's been around kickboxing for as long as he has, that has as much combat sports experience as Pereira had, I was surprised to see that. It did look like Izzy was hurt. He was wobbled up against the fence. He covered up. He teed off, but he got too wide. He opened up big time. Massive looping hooks. Went to the body. They were nice. And then huge hooks here. When you throw these huge hooks, it leaves an opening. You need to have your hands up. You need to have your guard tight so you don't get caught with the counter. And as we know, lightning fast. 1-2. Izzy rocks him and then follows it up. Well done. What a post-fight speech. The bow and arrows, everything about that showed why Israel Adesanya is a star. And I'm telling you, I saw some footage of him in the nightclubs afterwards in Miami, enjoying himself, and rightly bloody so, on stage with a rapper or a singer. Him, Kamaru, Michael Venom Page, all bowing down to the greatness of Chuck Liddell. Just a beautiful sight to see. Well done to Izzy. Enjoyed the moment. The middleweight champion of the world and new. Phenomenal stuff. But do you want to see it again? Should it be Pereira versus Izzy? 3? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, ring the bell. See you soon.